Today we're going to look at a simple exercise that is going to give a little bit of insight into the animation principles of follow-through and overlapping action. As you can see, we've got a pretty simple scene. It's got 5 objects in it. They're named link 01, 02, 03, 04, and 05. These are going to be links in a chain, and we'll use them as kind of a simple pendulum. You can see now when I select all of the objects in my scene, if I just click on link 1, hold down shift, and click on link 05 in the outliner, if I go to rotate those objects, they each rotate from their own pivot point. So we want them to act more like a chain, so we're going to go ahead and set them up as a hierarchy. Remember, in a hierarchy, the object that is below another object is going to inherit those transforms. So we'll start down at the bottom with link 05. We'll hold down Control and select link 04. We'll go to Edit and Parent. You can also use the P key as a shortcut. We'll do the same thing with link 04 to link 03, link 03 to link 02, link 02 to link 01. Now if I hold down shift and I click on that plus next to link 01, you can see that my whole hierarchy is set up. If I select all 5 of these again and now go to rotate, you can see that the links are then inheriting the rotation from their parent. That's exactly what we want. So follow through and overlapping action kind of complement one another. And what they mean is that different objects are going to move at different rates or at different times. So we're going to start by blocking in a very simple pendulum swing back and forth, and then I'll show you a very simple method that you can use in 3D animation to create those things, and you can use those, how you can use those on different characters and different objects and scenes. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to set our extents here to 120 frames. We'll just go ahead and double click here and say 120. So now our animation is 120 frames. Now the animation numbers and times that I'm going to use are just examples. Feel free to play with the timing and the amount that you want these objects to rotate. We'll start at frame 0 and set our initial key. The first thing I'm going to do is with all 5 of these objects selected, I'm going to go over into my channel box. I'm going to type in 30 and go ahead and start with the pendulum already rotated, or the chain already rotated. We'll go ahead and hit the S key and set our initial key. The next thing I'm going to do is go to frame 10, so I'll be animating every 10 frames just to make this simple. And with the pendulum swing to the other side, we want it to swing, but we don't want it to swing quite as far because the objects themselves are going to lose momentum and energy. So we'll go ahead and type in -27. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is go to frame 20. And again, it's going to start to lose some, so over here we'll just go ahead and type in 22. At frame 30, we'll go ahead and type in -17. You can see that these rotations are going to get a little bit less every time. As we go to the other side, we'll go ahead and type 10. At frame 50, we'll go ahead and type -6. At frame 60, we'll say 4. At frame 70, we'll type -2. 80, we'll type 1. And then we'll just do a couple of little swings as it settles. We'll say -0.5. At 100, we'll say 0.25. And then at frame 110, we'll just say 0. So it's going to come to rest at frame 110. Now, as you can see, when we have all of these objects selected, each one of them is keyed at exactly the same time. So when we go ahead and scrub through our animation, they're all rotating at the same time. Now, the rotation itself looks good, the individual poses look good, but the motion is all happening at the same time. So the concept of overlapping action and follow-through means that these objects should be moving at different times. The simple method that we use to do this in 3D animation is we'll deselect the first object in the chain, that is link 01. And with all 4 of these selected, in the channel or in the graph editor, we can either select all of the keys here, and we can go to our move tool or hit the W key, hold down shift and click on middle mouse button, and then we're going to offset these 2 frames. Another method that you can use, we'll just go ahead and deselect link 02. Now link 03 through link 05 are going to happen even later than that. Down here in the time slider, what we can do is click on the end here outside of our range of frames. We'll click on shift, and we're just going to hold down shift and then drag a little box. You can see it makes this blue selection window. And in the middle, there's these 2 arrows. These arrows can be used to move this entire selection. We'll go ahead and move this down 2 additional frames. We'll go ahead and hold down Control. We'll deselect link 03. Use the same method down here, and we'll just move these down 2 frames. and then hold down Control and go to link 05, so that's the only one selected. We'll drag our box around here, and we're just going to drag this down one frame. Usually that last link is not going to follow quite as far from its previous link. It's just going to be sort of almost attached. So now let's just go ahead and we'll deselect everything here. We'll go back to 0, and we'll go ahead and hit play. So you can see now that when these objects move at different times, it's giving us this sense of follow through and secondary action. You can think of this as an object that would be hanging off of a character, like a ponytail or a pack or a rope. And so this method can be used in any animation. The last thing that I want to show you is just a little tip that I found is these last two links, when I'm animating, I tend to animate their rotations a little larger than the previous links. So what I'll do is once I've animated these things, I'll just go ahead and select link 04 and link 05. I'll go down here to the graph editor, and I'm just going to select, you can see that both of them are listed here. If you click on rotate Z and hold down Control and click on rotate Z, it isolates those two channels. We'll go ahead and select those channels. We'll go to edit and we'll go to scale in the option box. I'm going to leave my time scale at 1, meaning that the times of these keys will be unchanged. My value scale, however, is at 1.5, meaning that these are going to be about 50% greater when I apply this. So if I hit apply, you can see that those curves get a little bit greater. What that does is it allows your eye to register the end of that a little bit more and makes that swing look a little bit nicer. Also, when you animate these, don't forget to add those settling keys in at the end. Those last couple little rotations do add quite a bit. That's the simple example that we use to show overlapping action and follow through. I hope that gives you a little bit more insight into those concepts and a little bit of a workflow that you can use when you animate in Maya. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments section. Be sure to like and subscribe, and hit me up with any other things that would help you on your journey in animation. Thanks and have a great day.